Do you often try to implement new habits but you always fail? Would you like to level up your life but you can't find the courage to do so? Well, maybe what you need is an alter ego. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bri and I'm a pre-qualified psychologist. Today we're going to talk about the concept of alter ego and how to create an alter ego in order to reduce the gap between your current self and your desired self. As usual, this video is going to be divided into chapters. In chapter 1, we will talk about what is an alter ego, why you need an alter ego, and how an alter ego can improve your life in so many ways. In chapter 2, we will cover all the science behind the benefits of creating an alter ego. And in chapter 3, I will outline a step-by-step guide on how to build an alter ego. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start from the start. What is an alter ego? An alter ego is a tool that lets you adopt the traits, behaviors, manner, and appearance of a person who excels in a particular realm of your life. Building an alter ego will help you set aside your current behavior and mindset and adopt the mindset and behaviors of your alter ego. The reason why this is so important is because the actions that you take in your everyday life are strictly related to your identity. If you often find that you want to implement new habits or you want to make some changes into your life but you constantly fail, probably is because although you're trying to change your actions, your identity has not shifted and the way you perceive yourself has not changed as well. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, outlines how habits are strictly related to our identity. Implementing new habits into our everyday life will eventually shape who we are. So let's say if you start to run 5 times a week, you will start perceive yourself as a runner, and this will make it more likely that you stick to the habit over the long term. However, this is not always the case, and it happens more often than not that we want to try and implement new habits, a new lifestyle, but we just struggle to succeed. And the reason for that is that regardless of our effort, we might still have some limiting beliefs about ourselves that will get in the way of us achieving our goals. In my video on self-fulfilling prophecies and the Pygmalion effect, I talked about how our brain works very hard in order to make the beliefs that we have about ourselves become reality. This is because every time we change our mind, our neurons have to completely rewire and they'd rather not do so. So they work very hard to create a reality that leaves everything exactly as it is. However, if we let them do that, we will stay stagnant without the possibility to grow. Developing an alter ego could help you prevent that. By developing an alter ego that embodies the person that you want to be, you can decide to act like this persona in your everyday life and unleash traits, ability, and strengths that you already possess, but that you have not been implementing yet. In fact, having an alter ego does not mean faking to be someone that you're not, but it means to find the courage to act like the person that you already are, but that you are too afraid to show to the world. An alter ego could help you improve many aspects of your life, including wellness, health, and productivity. And there is actual science that proves that having an alter ego can actually improve your life. In 2017, White and colleagues developed an experiment that they named the Batman effect. In the experiment, they told 4 and 6 years old children that they had to find the correct key to open a box which contained a toy within a set of key. And in reality, the set of key did not contain the correct key, so there was no solution for this task. Children were given 10 minutes and they also had the options of taking breaks to play a video game. The interesting thing is that children were asked to express their feelings and thoughts from different perspectives. The self-immersed group were asked to express their thoughts and feelings in first person. Children in the third person group were asked to describe their thoughts and feelings from a third person perspective. And then there was the exemplar group that was asked to pick a character of their choice. This could be Batman, Dora the Explorer, Rapunzel. And the children were also gave a prop to help them get into the character. So, for example, a cape, a tiara, a backpack. These children were asked to think about how the character they chose would think and feel. The experiment found that the children who spent the most time working on the task and that expressed less frustration were those in the exemplar group, followed by the third-person group, with the self-immersed group performing the worst. This study actually demonstrates how immersing ourselves into the shoes of someone we admire could actually improve our performance, but also change the way we think and feel. The way in which an alter ego could have such effect is by creating distance between ourselves and what we want to do and imagine a role model. In this way, we are able to distance ourselves from our limiting beliefs and to act like the person we want to be. By the way, the majority of people that watch my videos are not actually subscribed to the channel, which is not nice. You can fix that by hitting the subscribe button below, and as I'm really just starting with YouTube, this will really help my channel grow. So thank you very much if you do that. Now that we have understood what is an alter ego and how it works, we are going to outline a step-by-step guide on how to create an alter ego. So the first step is to analyze your current situation. In this step, we are thinking about what is the change that we want to make to our life. Do we want to be healthier? Do we want to be more productive? Do we want to be a better person for our loved ones? Do we want to just be able to do the things that scare us? After you have identified this, try to set clear goals. And ideally, you should do the SMART method. So your goals need to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So for example, if you want to be healthy, how do you want to be healthy? Do you want to start going to the gym 3 times a week? Do you want to eat less sugars? Do you want to be more productive? How does that look like? Do you want to be able to work on your business for 3 hours every day? Once you have identified what is the change that you want to make and have set clear goals, you can now identify what is it that is holding you back. Is it imposter syndrome, fear of failure, traumatic experiences related to a certain thing that you want to do? For example, do you have a bad memory of you embarrassing yourself whilst doing a public speech? Or is it that you have limiting beliefs about yourself? If that is the case, I advise you to actually write down what the limiting belief is and how you think you develop the limiting belief in the first place. For example, do you believe that you will fail because in the past people have told you that you will struggle to succeed in life? Make it very clear so that you can trace the root of that limiting belief, and by doing this you will take away a lot of its power. In step 2, we are deciding how do we want to create an alter ego, because there are actually different ways in which we can do this. The first method is to create a persona that embodies certain characteristics. So this will be just one alter ego that you can use at times of need in all the different areas of your life in which you want to make changes to. This could also work if there is only one area of your life that you want to change, for example, health or productivity. The second method is to use different alter egos. Todd Herman, the author of the book The Alter Ego Effect, says that creating multiple alter egos is beneficial as it will help us account for multiple areas of our lives. You don't even need to create an alter ego from scratch. You could just choose fictional or real life people that embodies the characteristics that you want to take and use them as your alter ego for different areas of your life. I personally use this last method, although I might give it a try with just creating one alter ego from scratch that I can use for multiple areas of my life and see how it goes. At the end of the day, you can just do whatever it's best for you and what you feel most comfortable in doing. The third step is deciding on the characteristics of your alter ego, or to outline these characteristics and then find people that have these characteristics. You need to be very specific at this point. What does your alter ego do? How do they carry themselves? Which strengths do they possess? And how have they developed these strengths in the first place? According to Todd Herman, you need to build a strong emotional connection with your alter ego in order for this process to succeed. And you should also name your alter ego with a name that you feel deeply connected to. Step 3 is choose a trigger. This is the step where you decide how you want to turn your alter ego on. You could use an object that is of significance to you, like a necklace, or an accessory, like a pair of glasses, or a lipstick even. Eric Partaker, in his book The 3 Alarms, suggests setting 3 alarms that ring at different times of the day and that remind you to embody the characteristics of 3 different people in area of your life concerning health, work, and relationships. I personally have customized 3 different focus modes on my iPhone. One for my morning routine, one for my work/productivity time, and the last one is for my personal time. These focus modes have different names, different lock screens, and different apps that I can access at different times of the day. They activate automatically and they function a little bit as my trigger throughout the day. Step 4 is when we start practicing our alter ego. And the important thing here is not to start with something scary. So don't use your alter ego for the first time when you need to do a public speech. Instead, you could try going for a walk as your alter ego. You could try doing a work session or go to the restaurant. So you can use low-key situations to practice before going into the real thing. And finally, step 5, this is optional and it does not require any actual actions from you, as it will happen over time. In fact, once you've used your alter ego for a while, you will start to adopt their traits and qualities, and you won't need a trigger object anymore. This is the point where you and your alter ego will start to merge. In conclusion, creating an alter ego could reduce the gap between your current self and your desired self by making you unleash traits, abilities, and strengths that you already possess, but that you struggle to implement and show to the world. There are different methods that you can use to create your alter ego, but ultimately all these different methods will help you become the best version of yourself until you won't need an alter ego anymore. And this brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, you can leave a thumbs up or leave a comment, as it really helps the algorithm apparently. As usual, I'm going to leave some references and further readings in the description box below, where you will also find my socials and my website. And that is really all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!